Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? My name is Fields and Skylines, and today we are playing on Court Farm, Farming Simulator 22. Um, this is an interesting episode. It's going to span a couple months. We have to sell our grain off here in December, and in January we're going to do pretty much a full sell-off since this is our wrap-up video as well. It's been a very fun series. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. And through this wrap up video, we'll kind of talk about how we started the series and how it's ending, and maybe what the future for our farmers are. So we have some oats to sell. Looks like January is a better time to sell them. It was December. Let's see if our other ones are starting to trend that way. Maybe we just jump into December. Should have probably checked this before I started recording. Oh well. Linseed. Yeah, January. We could sell rye. That doesn't look like it's going up. And of course, field bean is always later. So what I think I'm going to do is um, jump into uh, January and then kind of do a bunch of stuff here in January. So it'll be a quick little jump cut. So bear with me. Apologize for this. I should have checked. The prices last month were saying December, but I should have checked. So I'll be right back. All right, so now it's January, and probably should have sold the field bean last month. I didn't look close enough. Field bean did go down in price a little bit in January, but that is okay. Um, we're really just trying to sell everything. Not necessarily get the best price, but just places close by. Like, I'm going to go to the grain mill, even though it is significantly lower. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to town stores. I will take the rye to the grain mill. Just it kind of goes in with the role play of working with that farmer. Um, who leases all that stuff to us. So we'll go with that. Um, like I said, we will have to sell cheese, butter, and we're just going to sell all the milk. We're not going to take the milk. Um, Same with clothing. We got to take all of the wool. We'll probably sell all of the wool, and then the clothing we will also sell any clothing that we have. Let's take a look and see where we are at with our production. So fabric, we're out of wool. We're out of milk right there. You know, we can run these for a while and they'll produce for a while. So yeah. So we'll sell the clothes, we'll sell our wool, sell pretty much everything just to kind of see where we're at. Um, I think we're gonna make pretty good money. We make good money on this farm, and it'll only get better if we would continue playing and like just expanding our farm out, expanding on the productions. But let's talk about as we dump where we started. So when we started, if you remember, it was Grandpa's farm, handed down to Dad, handed, and still Dad's. We're working for Dad, and then our distant cousins own Court Farm. Grandpa didn't inherit it. Instead, he got money, so he was upset and started his own farm down here and kind of fell out of like with each other, kind of feuding a bit. Um, and so Grandpa's plan was to build a farm, dairy farm, sheep farm, and have all of these fields as part of his farm. We started with field 51, this grass field, and field 31 when we started playing, and this little small shed area down here. along with this area up here. That's how we started, and that was Grandpa's dream, and Dad was working on that, towards that, and we were pretty close. Um, and then Dad hired some farmhands who he thought were good people to take care of the farm, because he was going to start focusing on expanding outside of the farm, into other productions. And while he was focusing on trying to figure that out, um, all of our animals were getting sick. Our crops weren't planted in. Um, we had a bunch of fields that we had to sell off just to keep the farm afloat, because those farmhands stole all the money that they were supposed to be using to buy all crops and seeds, fertilizers, and all of that stuff. Um, and we lost almost all of our animals. So our permits for how many animals we could keep dropped. And when we started the playthrough, we had very few animals, very few. We had 2 tractors. We had good equipment, smaller equipment, but we didn't have any crops, didn't have a lot of money, and we didn't really have animals. So Dad had a breakdown, which is understandable, and I jumped in to run the farm, try to save it, and get it running to the way we knew it could be. So that is what we started at. I don't even know how many seasons ago that was, but it was a long time. And this farm, one of the biggest challenges we faced on this farm is just how tight everything is and how hard it is to maneuver. And that is one of the things I've learned that I'm still not very good at, is the maneuvering around on this farm. Like, I get stuck a lot. I don't know why. There you go. Like, I should be able to climb up this poo pile. All right. So the next thing we're gonna sell the rye, and we're just gonna take it right up to the grain mill. So yeah, so we slowly decided that the best way to proceed would be to go Grandpa's plan a little bit and try to get a few more fields, just so that we could see. It's just so tight. Come on. There we go. So to get a few more fields planted, continue to sell salads and continue buying animals. So next thing we did is we bought, I think, field 49, and we decided that once this crop was harvested, we would turn that into alfalfa, and we plowed this up to make it alfalfa, and kept this grass, kept this a crop, and then turned this into a crop. And then we next bought 50, and we kept buying more animals, selling our wool, selling our milk. Then we got to a point that we had, we didn't have all of Grandpa's fields bought, but we had a full dairy and a bunch of wool, and we decided that it was time to branch out. And we bought some land, and we put up a clothing factory that we could take our wool to. And we also, shortly thereafter, leased out another sheep pen from a farmer who was looking to do less farming. He was getting older. He purchased the mill. Well, we found out later that he purchased the mill and that his wife owns this bakery here right across the street from their farm. And that's what they really wanted to focus on. So we leased out the sheep pen from them so that we could keep growing our wool business and that t-shirt business, because those t-shirts, when we sold them, we made a lot of money. And we continue to make a lot of money on them. Unfortunately, when we sell them today, not quite as much, because March or May, for which is the sell date for that. So yeah, that is what we built up next. And once I get to where we're going, I will kind of show that area on the map and kind of jump over there, take a look at our t-shirt factory. That was our first production. That was the start of Dad's dream of branching out. And after what happened with those people, those farm hands that stole all of our money, I don't even want to call them farm hands because it makes farm hands sound bad. The con men, it really became important to Dad to be able to branch out and have multiple lines of revenue, not just the farm. So let's go ahead. So we bought this property right here, and we that's water. There we go. Let's go visit. And we built this t-shirt factory. Back here is where you drop off the wool. Back of house. Nice little door. That's how we go in. And our t-shirt factory can take wool or cotton and go right to clothes. And we have a little bit to sell. 5 out here. I think there were 6 pallets worth inside. So that'll make us just a little bit of money. I'll make us a bit of money. So there we go. I didn't see how much we got for the rye. It's all right. That was a maneuver. So of course our farmer friend here will take that rye, turn it into flour, so that his wife can continue making wonderful, delicious bakery. Wow, it is slippery. See, snow is always so slippery in this game. Alright. So I will do another quick little jump cut here to go load up our linseed. Then we'll figure out where to take the linseed. Be right back. So the beans and the linseed are sold. Now it's time to sell off our butter. As we load up the butter, let's continue our journey of history with the farm. So shortly before we bought the clothing store, we did buy 35 to put our field beans in. And then we shortly after that bought 38. And that's kind of where we left Grandpa's dream for a while, so that we could grow up our dairy industry by leasing the big cattle here, just really expanding our dairy and milk. I don't know if more will spawn there or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So that we could then expand across the street with another dairy, a couple more of those farm dairies, upgrading our, transportation for selling things. All sorts of upgrades occurred as we grew and earned money. So where should we take the butter? butter looks like in January. It's not a bad price. 17.45, 29.40, 86. These though are too far away. 83. All right, we'll take it up to Pine Creek. I always want to make sure I tag it though because there's 2 crates there. I always want to make sure to go to the proper one. So I'm going to set up a worker to drive this on up there. Well, then we can continue our talk. So we want to go way up here. And then we want to jump back over here. Visit. So just took us over here. Right. So this is across the street. Remember we just had that dairy and then one of the farm dairies over there doing butter, one doing cheese, one doing butter. And we bought the land here and we put up this dairy. Looks really nice. And then we decided that we would also put a farm dairy over here. And this would be our cheese complex. This would do our cheese. And all things over there would do butter. And we decided that we'd be selling this stuff every 2 months, kind of perishable. Whereas like milk, we'd have to sell more often. As you can see, we have quite a bit of cheese we're going to be selling here shortly. And then that was kind of the end of most of Dad's expansion. Once we got this done, we started delivering milk to both, you know, a couple seasons and whatnot. And some of the things I learned is like, these are some tight gates down here to get in, along with a tight entranceway here. So, yeah, so we had this little dairy compound and little industrial sector here of our clothing and more dairy. And it worked out nicely because milk sells nice, milk prices are good, but cheese and butter prices are better. So let's see if I can't jump back into the butter truck and take over the drive. And with that, I am going to get the cheese and the butter here, cheese sold, and we will be back. See you in a bit. So it's now time to start selling the milk. We have a lot of milk to sell. It's a good time of year to sell milk. It's a good thing. Even if we weren't wrapping up, we'd sell most of this milk. We'd only fill up the 2 farmers' dairies, and then we would sell off. So these first 4 here we can't sell to because we own them. So where do we want to go? $13.99 is really the best. Where is this place? Fortunately, it's really far away and we have a lot of loads. There it is. So we will not be going there. So the next best is Pine Creek at 59.72.76. Oh, nice and close. Perfect. So yeah, because we're gonna have another load here and another load from the other farm to take. So set off a worker, and then we'll talk about kind of where we're at now on this map and playthrough. I think a worker can get us to right there. Yep. So the last things we did, like I talked about, is we bought this grass field. We brought the last arable, completing Grandpa's dream, and then Dad's last thing for his dream was buying and building this mini biogas plant. And why did he want this? Well, factories use a lot of electricity. It's expensive, big cost. And so this plant can take straw, slurry, or silage, all sorts of stuff, and turn it into electricity, methane, and digestate. Um, so all byproducts we could then offset the electrical costs of some of the factories and also sell off the digestate or even use it on our farms. And even though we don't produce enough manure or slurry to keep this thing, or straw to keep this thing running 24/7, um, Dad thinks that some of our future plans might help us even get more of those things. And we'll talk about that shortly when we talk about what's next for Dad and I. All right, let's go ahead and get this milk sold, and then we'll get the wool sold, and we'll come back in time to sell off t-shirts. So what are we going to get for this milk? We have a lot of milk to sell. I'll probably just do this one, and then I'll do the rest of the milk and jump cut, or rest of the milk and the wool and a jump cut. Like I said, and we'll come back to the t-shirt. But let's see what 22,000 liters will get us. It's going to be pretty good. Was it 1,700 or something like that? It's almost 2,000, so 44. So maybe in the 40s. I'm terrible at math, so who knows where it turns out. Wow, it just keeps going. All right, look at that. We got 30,000, way off, and then 3,300 for almost 3,400 environmental, and we're gonna have almost another full tanker. So that's not bad. I think what we're gonna do though is do that jump cut, and I'll be back to sell the clothing that we have. So we are up to $1.4 million. We have clothes to sell. Pretty good price. Could be a lot. Well, it's not a good price. It's about 5,000 per liter, per 1,000 liter, less than normal. But again, it is a sell-off. It's a final episode, so it's all right. We are taking them back up here where we took butter or the cheese. I don't remember which. But yeah, so now that we've talked about where we are, where are we going? So Dad put me in charge of growth for both the farms and the productions. He hired a farm manager, a very reputable one. We did a lot of background checks. He is very, very good to run the farm. Dad's going to take care of the running the productions for now. And one of the first things I was doing as growth was trying to figure out some equipment that we might need to help get manure and slurry transported better. Just having the right equipment for our productions and the right amounts. when I was at my lunch break at the pub and I learned that our distant cousins are thinking about selling our ancestral farm, Court Farm. Um, I've also heard that they're doing it secretively because they don't want us to buy it. They've seen all the success we have, and they're getting a little upset that they're no longer the top dog in the area. And so they want out. And so Dad and I put together a little proxy to buy the farm, all the land, and all their equipment on our behalf without them knowing who they're buying it, selling it to. And because, like everything in life, they always take the shortcuts, they will never know it was us until it's too late. And so we put together a deal that will close next March to buy 40, 41, 42, 52, 53, 56, 54, 107, 106 farm and all their equipment. Now, all the livestock and horses and everything like that, we can't buy through a proxy, so they are going to sell that off on their own, and they are happy with the price we gave them. When they find out who it is, they won't be so happy. So that is our first farm expansion. It's going to pretty much double the size of our farm. Our farm manager, one of the reasons why he took our job was, one, we told him we could provide him a place to live, which will be the house that I currently live in, which is all right. I'm probably out. And two, he wanted something bigger. And when we told him our plans, once we got confirmed that the deal is on, he took the job. So we have those two farms to run. I'll continue doing the growth. Dad will do the productions. 16,000 in environmental score, 151,000 for that growth. We sold all that stuff at peak. And then the last question is, well, what's my dream? People always ask me what my dream is. Is it really to be a growth officer? No, it's not. But I am going to stay with Dad. But there's another deal that's closing in March. Another good deal. Let's get this guy heading back home. I can talk about what that is. So with the money I've saved and all the bonuses that Dad has paid, it really does not like me going there because I'm not on the profit for it. With the money I've saved up, I will tell you what my dream is. My dream has always been, and is simply just to be a farmer. So one day, when I was taking care of the sheep, I was talking to the old farmer who owns our farm here, and he owns the pigs and the horses, chickens, 174, 176, and 177, 178, and 179. And he was telling me about how well the mill is doing, how well the bakery is doing, that he wants to sell off his farm and all the land and equipment to expand the mill and expand the bakery. And I told him how much I could come up with, asked him if that was a fair price, fair enough price. And I think he cut me a little bit of a deal. But yeah, he said yes. So in March, I will be closing on my own dream, my own little farm. Now, all the equipment he has, it's older and smaller, but it's perfect for this size of farm. Plus, I know another farm I could get, a loaner from if I needed to. So I will be busy farming my own land, taking stock of all the inventory of all the equipment at Dad's new farms, making sure we have the right equipment, we don't have too much, we've doubled up, slowing off the right stuff. Maybe even buying we have anything to sell, maybe I'll buy it. Yeah, for my farm. But that is my dream, simply just to be a farmer. With this playthrough, I was able to accomplish that as well. I got to farm Grandpa's farm, and then earn enough money to buy my own. Got Dad right, got everyone back on their feet, and we were able to get our ancestral farm back in our hands. And now it'd be farmed properly. So with that, the playthrough is over. I want to thank you all for joining me on this journey. Um, it's been fun. We're finishing off in January. We have 1.5, almost 1.6 million dollars. That money would just keep going up, and then keep buying stuff and keep going. So it's been a fun playthrough. Again, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this playthrough, please check out some of my other playthroughs. White Farm, Silver Run Forest, starting up the Valley of the Old Farm, Billionaire. So please keep that in mind. Give this episode a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you, like I said, are enjoying my content and you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Um, it'll just help propel the channel forward. Would like to try to get up to 200 subscribers here in the next year, half a year. I don't know. So please subscribe if you haven't. Again, thank you for watching and following along on this playthrough. And as always, please have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.